Okay, so select, number one is we've chosen our market, okay? You guys need to go back and choose one at a time. You can choose two, but not at the same time, okay?
What was that number one again?
Number one was back on page number 7, and that is choosing one market. Now on page 9, selecting your media.
Page 8 was number one.
Page 8, number 1 was demographics.
Okay, thanks.
Number 6 was fears. Yeah, it's because I went off onto a little tangent. That's why you're confused. Page over. There are 4 media, basically. And this is me kind of putting them into category. There's the direct mail where you have a list or you have a phone number or you have an email and you can directly go to them, bypassing competitors, bypassing anything, just going directly to them. By the way, I'm a king of direct mail. I really believe in direct marketing. Direct mail is part of direct marketing. I believe going to them one-on-one is very powerful. Personal media is face-to-face stuff. Very important. In fact, that's your best media. And Heather does that very well. You're going face-to-face with people. You go into boutiques and stuff like that. And that's a media. What's a negative of personal media? What's a one negative? Just one. Time. Yeah. And cost. You get in your car and you drive around and stuff like that. I believe in personal media, though, for what all of you are selling here. I moved here from Southern California in 1995. Oh my goodness, it's been 20 years. And all of my clients were down in Southern California. But every month, I would get on the airplane on a Friday morning at 6 o'clock, Southwest Airlines, my favorite airlines. And I love In-N-Out Burger. I love Southwest Airlines. I would go there and I'd go from Santa Monica and I'd work my way down to San Clemente and see my 4 or 5 clients and then come home that very evening. Do you know how many months in a row I did that? 72. I did it for many, many months until they either died or they changed firms or whatnot, because nothing beats the face-to-face. That's why we do this face-to-face. You can see my enthusiasm, you can learn from each other. Mass media, radio, TV, newspaper, still very, very viable. The internet, to me, is kind of like when CDs came along in the music industry. It's just another, that's the last one, it's just another method. It hasn't really, yes, some newspapers have gone by the wayside, but you got to realize that, who's the owner of Amazon? Jeff Bezos, is that how you say his name, Matthias? Bezos or Jeff Bezos? The owner of Amazon went and bought a newspaper just, I think, last year, the Washington Post, which is interesting. Why would the king of internet buy a traditional print newspaper? And he's trying to intermingle these here together. So your assignment really is just to kind of write down what you're doing right now. But you don't have to do that right now because I want to turn over to page 10, which is a very important page. Which media is best for you? Your suspects are either out in the open or they're hiding. Let me explain. Out in the open means that you can get a list of all black women in Saratoga Springs, for lack of a better example. You know exactly who they are. You can reach them. In hiding, meaning you have people, gatekeepers that you're going through, and you're having a tougher time trying to reach them. This little grid here is kind of to help you think, okay, what media should I use to reach my media? Let's go to that first column. It says, if you had the ability to reach just one person and you wanted to use an offline method, direct mail or personal is your best, okay? Let's say that you wanted to reach one person and you wanted to do it online, then you would using text, email, social media. You would use the internet. Does this make sense a little bit? Okay, go over to the group. If you wanted to reach the masses and you're really not quite sure who you're going to reach, then I would consider mass media. But look at that box where I say mass media. When I use mass media, I talk to one person. I talk to one person. It's like, who's been to the Rose Bowl? It's a wonderful place to see a football game. The Rose Bowl, Southern California again. Do you know how many seats are in the Rose Bowl? 100. The entire King of Tonga could fit in there. Again, my Polynesian roots coming out there. I mean, I can see all these Tongans in there. And you got to view mass media that you walk into the Rose Bowl and you see nothing but a mass of people in there, and you're going to get on the podium and you're going to say, I need all human beings to stand up. Bad idea. Everybody stands up. Okay, I changed my mind. Okay, I need all women to stand up. Bad idea. That's half the group, right? Bad idea. Okay. I need all women between the ages of 40 and 50 to stand up. You see what I'm doing here? I'm doing what I've been screaming this entire class is I'm choosing who I'm going after. My direct mail ads, I'm going to show you an example of one in just a minute, or anytime that I'm doing my media, I talk to one person. Let's say that if you wanted to reach a group, you're back on the internet, but now you've got to do SEO or pay-per-click. SEO is search engine optimization. Yes?
We went through actually similar just about a month ago.
Yep.
Their business, because my partner went to another marketing class on it.
Why?
Find out your persona.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Wasn't your persona, who's your target market and
Yeah.
stuff, you know, their name, their age, demographics and stuff, and just so you kind of see who you want to look at when you write your marketing pieces to kind of write to that person.
It's exactly the way you want to do it. Here's the problem. In the old days, if I wanted to reach a group and the mass media, I would have put yellow pages on there. What is happening to the yellow pages? Did you know that it is still really strong in certain communities? There's some, like up in Alaska or North Dakota, yellow pages is still pretty much king, believe it or not. I know you're kind of laughing, but you will want to consider spending money in that. And there are yellow pages that are still being published. The new yellow pages is basically SEO, which we're going to talk about a little bit. Who is really good in SEO in here? Who's had some really good success paying money to be doing search engine optimization? We're not going to talk about it then. Okay, does anybody have any questions about this particular page, about the grid?
What's the PPC?
Pay-per-click.
Paper what?
Pay-per-click. Does somebody want to explain pay-per-click? Go ahead.
Well, pay-per-click is you pay for so many impressions or so many click-throughs, I guess. There's different ways of how many people seen on your ads on the internet.
Oh, I see, okay. Who's looking at you?
They're looking at you and clicking through to go to your actual website or your offer.
Pay-per-click is who are my SBD friends in here, who's a pay-per-click expert? Matthias, educate us a little more on that.
Well, basically,
Did you just come for the free donuts?
they're bagels.
Oh, okay. But go ahead, pay-per-click or SEO, either one you can talk about right now.
Basically, you pay to have your ad shown up when they type in chocolate cookies or something, and that's what you make, that your ad will come up and show to them. So you don't have to have the expertise or the time that it takes to get your website to naturally or organically come up and show itself. It can immediately be shown as an ad there. But you have to pay money for that. You still have to pay for SEO
Yeah.
time and effort or hiring somebody to do it. But you pay and it immediately shows up, and then you can go in and monitor very specifically. You can test different ads against each other, which
Yeah.
is more effective. And like you were saying a little bit earlier, we had a business and we spend $30,000 a month doing pay-per-click ads. And
Mhm.
somebody said to me, "Why do you spend so much money? Do SEO." Well, because I make 5 times as much
Yeah.
for those ads that we spend on it.
It's really all about measuring it. It really is. Yes, go ahead, Chris.
One thing I would say is, a lot of people really like pay-per-click.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of clients blow the pants off pay-per-click by doing PPM, pay per 1,000 impressions.
That's something I'm not familiar with.
It's the old methodology of the TV or the
Oh, yeah.
TV, the
Okay.
newspapers.
Yeah.
Instead of paying for
I call it
every click,
CPM. Okay.
You paying for how many
Mhm.
views you get.
Mhm.
My son has an online business, did Facebook ads for less than 10. His goal was to get 10,000 likes so that when he introduced a new product video, he'd have the critical mass
Yeah.
for it to go out.
What does your son sell, by the way?
He sells aftermarket and off-road lighting kits,
Okay.
and he got up to 10,000 for less.
Is he making money yet?
He's making money.
Good for him. Does he make more than you? I hope he does. That's my goal of my own children.
Probably close right now.
Okay, now I don't want you all to get freaked out about internet right yet. We're going to talk about it in a little bit here. The first step is to defining who you're talking to. Just because your competitor, Russell, may have a Facebook page doesn't mean you have to have one. Okay? If you know who your market is, you can reach them. There are other ways of doing that. I had one Google, by the way, I am not a pay-per-click expert. I have guys that work with me that know more than that. I'll admit that right away, that are just wonderful. I have an SEO guy who is wonderful. He's got my client a healthcare facility up into #1, and it's just wonderful. You want to use the media that reaches the people at the proper cost. And in that particular case of your son, that's a wonderful thing. In you, Jan, I don't know if it is a wonderful thing. I don't know about you either, Shannon. I mean, if I'm going to sit here and pick on individual businesses one-on-one, but anyway, any more comments on this particular page? Okay.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
If you don't have a website, people, clients, suspects don't think that you're viable,
Yeah.
that you really exist.
I want to tell you about websites. I'm going to jump to that section right now. The website, you don't have to give the entire story there. You have to use the website as, what do I want them to do? What step do I want them to go to? How far do I want them to go to? Let me tell you a quick little story. Last year, I was invited to give a talk. This is really interesting. I don't know how people found me. The Deaf and Blind Association of Utah. If you have a deaf or a blind child, there's an organization in Utah that is for these parents. That must be tough, raising a kid that is either deaf or blind. And I can't remember what the theme of my talk was, but it was really good. But anyway, I created a website for that particular talk. It was a one-page landing page. And I asked the owners of the organization, can you have them go to this website before I give my talk? Because I knew that they would not give me the list, and I did not want their list. It's a very private list of who has them. And so it basically said, and the website was a little 1-minute video of me, and it was me talking, saying, listen, I don't understand what you're going through. I don't know the pains that you go through and the challenge that you go through with the blind. I was very honest. By the way, that's another rule that I have in marketing. Marketing guys have a bad reputation because our clients make us lie. I don't lie. The best approach is the educational, transparent approach. So I made this video and I said, I don't know anything about your organization or what you do. Would you mind answering one question? Then I put that same question above the fill-in-the-blank bars. A very simple website. It was, the design, I'm going to win an award on it. This is the video right there. There is the question. There is their first name, there's their email, and then there's response. What is the biggest challenge you face day to day with your child? I sent that out to about 50 people and I got about 35 respond before even knowing me, because the purpose of the website was to really find that. And thus I was able to give a talk based on their particular needs, meaning I was talking to them. This is the way to do it. Let me tell you what the old way of Peter was. Here's a video. Let me tell you how great I am and how I can make your life better. How me. It's never about me. Marketing is never about you. Keep this in your mind. Nobody cares about you. Don't cry. Nobody cares about you. They only care about what you're going to do for them and how you're going to help them. And this was very sincere. I held up my iPhone and I says, listen, I'm in my front yard right now. I'm going to see you next week. Please help me understand. Just like the email I sent to all of you. And about 80% of you responded to Christine's email. I asked 3 questions, remember? And you responded. Helps me today.